All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring what I like to call the unearned gift of human consciousness. We're going to unpack a really fascinating thought experiment about the sheer absurdity of these minds that, well, we just kind of take for granted every single day.
So, I want to start you off with a pretty bizarre question. Just imagine walking up to a total stranger on the street and asking them, "Excuse me, did you submit an application to become a human being?" I mean, think about the utter confusion on their face. They'd probably look at you completely bewildered and say, an application for what? And that is exactly the point. It sounds completely ridiculous to our ears because it highlights this fundamental truth about our existence that we completely, totally ignore.
This just brilliantly illustrates the absurdity of how we view our arrival here. Like, none of us filled out some cosmic requisition form. You didn't sit down before you were born and draft a formal letter saying, "Dear Universe, for my upcoming existence, I'd like to request the human package, please. Oh, and definitely not a fox. Absolutely no snakes either. Thanks." Right? There was no drop-down menu where you gotta click and select your species.
Instead, you simply arrived. You were basically dropped into existence inside this incredibly advanced biological vehicle, completely for free and fully loaded with all the high-tech features. You didn't earn your way into being a human, it was just handed to you. You literally just woke up one day, metaphorically speaking, already equipped with this absolutely stunning setup.
Just look at the sheer scale of the built-in machinery we got for free. I'm just going to rattle these off, so notice how overwhelming it is. We've got eyes and ears that process complex sensory data instantly. We've got language, memory, imagination, reason, a conscience, and this boundless curiosity. Honestly, any single one of those traits on its own is a biological and philosophical marvel. And guess what? You have all of them running simultaneously all day long. It's wild. But here's where the source material points out a hilariously, well, slightly tragic irony about the human condition. We possess these minds capable of investigating the origins of the cosmos, right? We can piece together what happened billions of years ago in the universe. Yet, and we've all been there, with that exact same incredibly powerful brain, we will spend 3 whole days stressing and panicking because someone replied to our long, heartfelt message with a one-word text that just says, "Okay." It's absurd. We have the hardware of a god, and we use it to stress over digital punctuation.
But despite those moments of mundane panic, human beings really are fascinating creatures. Because we don't just process the physical world around us. We naturally pause to ponder massive, intangible concepts. We think about invisible building blocks like atoms. We try to wrap our minds around infinity. We contemplate death, we recognize beauty, we demand justice, and we feel love. These aren't things you can just reach out and touch or hold in your hand, yet our consciousness is custom built to wrestle with them. Let's build on this by comparing ourselves to the rest of the natural world. Think about our deep thoughts compared to, say, a stone. A stone thinks absolutely nothing. Or compare us to a tree. Now, a tree is magnificent for sure, but a tree definitely isn't awake at midnight having an existential crisis, stressing over the deeper, philosophical meaning of photosynthesis. But people? We ask those deeper questions constantly. We're literally the part of the universe that looks back at itself and wonders why.
And that brings us to a really profound philosophical anchor for this explainer. It's found in a famous text known as the Risale-i, specifically within a section called the 23rd word. This text repeatedly draws our attention back to this exact point, the extraordinary range of human abilities. It basically wants us to stop taking our own consciousness for granted and start investigating what this vast array of talents actually implies about our existence. So, the crucial takeaway here is this brilliant argument. If the equipment we've been given is unusually rich, if our mental, emotional, and spiritual toolkit is this extraordinarily complex, then perhaps our ultimate purpose is not unusually small. I mean, it's a basic principle of design, right? Form follows function. You don't build a massive, incredibly intricate machine to do a tiny, insignificant job. The sheer richness of the human mind implies a massively important human purpose. The text makes this striking comparison that honestly really hits close to home for anyone living in the modern world. Just imagine, for a second, owning the most advanced multi-billion-dollar supercomputer on Earth, a machine that can calculate the trajectories of galaxies and solve the most complex equations known to man. Now, imagine you exclusively use this massive supercomputer for one thing and one thing only: to check the time of day. Now, using a supercomputer just as a desk clock is technically possible. It will, in fact, accurately tell you what time it is. But ultimately, come on, it's slightly tragic. It is an unbelievable waste of potential. The machine was built for so much more, and restricting it to such a basic, mundane function completely ignores the very reason for its complex design. Which leads us directly to the mirror this source text holds up to us. Look at our own mundane routines. Ask yourself, what are we actually using our vast, built-in intelligence for every single day? We have the biological equivalent of that supercomputer sitting right there between our ears. We have memory, reason, conscience, imagination. So, what is the primary task we assign to this incredible machine? Are we operating our personal supercomputers just to earn a little more money? To consume more products? To simply achieve maximum daily comfort? If you look at the structure of modern life, it often feels like that's exactly what we're doing. We take this immense cosmic gift of high-level consciousness and we narrow its entire focus down to just surviving, acquiring things, and making sure our immediate physical environment is as cozy as possible. Now, let's be absolutely clear here. There is nothing wrong with comfort. Wanting a comfortable life, wanting to provide for yourself, having a nice place to live, that's all perfectly natural. It's human. But we really have to wonder if the human story is actually supposed to end there. Is the finish line of millions of years of existence and the gifting of this incredible mind really just a comfortable couch and a full bank account? The reason we fall into this trap is actually fascinating. We treat being human, with all its built-in miracles, like it's totally 100% normal. And why do we do that? Well, because everyone around us seems to have the exact same basic gift. When every single person you meet has language, reason, and imagination, this massive wealth becomes completely invisible to you. The ubiquity of the gift blinds us to its immense value. We basically suffer from a sort of miracle inflation. We wake up every single day with the absolute miracle of consciousness. We open our eyes, we process the light of a star that is millions of miles away, we instantly access decades of stored memories, formulate complex thoughts, and we just shrug it all off as completely ordinary. But the text urges us to pause. We treat it as normal, but maybe, just maybe, it isn't normal at all. Maybe it's literally the most extraordinary thing in the universe. Which leaves us with this ultimate, lingering question to deeply consider as we wrap up this explainer. If we accept the premise that being human is an enormous, unearned gift, a super rich toolkit designed for a massive purpose, what are we actually doing with it? Are we using our supercomputer just to check the time? Or are we finally ready to use it for the profound purpose it was built for? Think about that today. What are you doing with your supercomputer?